Hello and welcome to Raw. I'm Matt.
And I'm Alex, and we're at the Howletts and Port Lympne Wild Animal Parks in Kent. Behind us, having a munch, is Vuyu, a rare black rhino, and her baby Damara.
Yes, black rhino are amongst the most endangered species in Africa, with only about 3,600 remaining in the wild. So every single one is important, and it's a fantastic thing to see little baby Damara born here at the park.
And she's incredibly cute, and we will be seeing lots more of her and her mum throughout the rest of the series. But first, here's what's coming up on the rest of today's programme.
We get up close and personal with the Barbary lions, the biggest lions in the world.
The Lemur boys are in for a big shock as they're about to get their bachelor pad invaded by some bossy ladies.
And we have to help out a hungry panda. They're no share bears, as one is taking all the other's food.
Earlier in the year, this female fishing cat broke her leg and was taken to hospital. She's all better now, and we're going to see if she's welcomed home by her old mate. I'm up at the fishing cat enclosure with keeper Ben Warren, and we're about to reintroduce the cats Fime and Snatch. Ben, Fime's been through an awful lot over the last few months, hasn't she? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm hoping it'll go very well. You can never tell, you know, there might be a bit of a scuffle, and you might have to sort of run in and intervene a little bit. But I hope not, and I hope it all goes very well, and they'll just be friends.
And are you hoping that they might breed?
No, it's just for company, really. We just want a pair just to get on as company.
In the wild, do they normally exist as pairs?
No, they're pretty solitary in the wild. They'll just go around, feed. If they meet up, they might stick around for a little while, might mate, but tend to keep themselves to themselves, really.
She's absolutely beautiful. She's just
gorgeous.
Sort of sitting up there looking at us.
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing coat. Would that help her in a cold climate? Is that where she's from?
She's from India, so it tends to be pretty warm. It'll be cold at night, but be quite warm through the day. It's mainly for camouflage, really, as they're walking through the trees and with the leaves on the ground. So I think, you know, they hide themselves pretty well like that.
So, Ben, what's the plan? How are we going to get them together?
Well, basically, we have a slide that's just in the fence there.
I see.
Basically, I'll go inside, open the slide, and hopefully she'll walk through and come across the female.
A joyful
come across the
reunion.
male. Yeah, we'll see.
OK, well, I'll stand here and watch.
OK, I'll go. Hello, darling.
She seems like she's quite friendly. Well, I thought she was. She's gone away now, but does she know you very well?
Not very well, but she seems to know I don't mean any harm. She's nervous because everyone else is here at the moment. But when I'm down here on my own, she's very good, really good. There you go, gorgeous.
Did you see her leap right up there? She's not sure, is she, Ben? She's sort of biding her time rather than running in.
It takes a bit of time to work out the slide's actually open.
She's hissed as well. Is that because of us being here, do you think?
Yeah, it's quite unnerving for her.
And the way she's kind of going around in the same... Oh, here she comes again. She's going around in the same sort of pattern of movement. What does that mean?
It's just a path she knows and trusts, sort of thing. It's not...
I think she just hissed at you then.
Yeah, she should have had me by now if she means anything. Here's the male. See the male just coming down?
Oh, yes, I can see. There's Snatch up there. I can see him coming through. No, maybe he'll come through here. Well, they certainly don't seem like they're that pleased to see each other again, do they?
If I walk out gently and we'll see if she comes out. Oh, gorgeous.
Well, it's not happening just yet, and there's a lot of hissing going on, so come back later to see what happens.
How do fleas travel? Hitchhiking. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no idea? What kind of fish can swim in a river at 100 miles per hour? A motor pike.
Now it's time to meet the keeper who is unlucky enough to look after these brutish badgers. But does he know all there is to know about these honey monsters? We're right by the honey badgers to ask keeper Alan Keeling all about them. Alan, is it true that they're one of the most aggressive animals in the world?
It is true. I certainly think they're one of the most aggressive animals in the world. I know they don't look it, but they are. Every time I go in there, it's not a case of you might get attacked or anything like that. They just go for you. It's just in their nature.
OK, well, I'm quite glad that we're this side of the fence then. Who's got a question for Alan about the honey badgers? Isabel, what's yours?
Do they get stung by bees?
Well, they are called honey badgers, and that is because they're well known for breaking into beehives. But their skin's really, really thick, and it's actually totally impervious to bee stings. The only point that they can actually get stung on is right around the tip of the nose, and it does happen occasionally, yeah.
Does their loose skin mean they're a bit overweight?
No, they actually have loose skin for one main reason. Because they are quite small, although they are completely fearless and aggressive, they will be hunted by other animals. But if a lion was to grab a badger by the skin, they can actually twist right round inside the jaws and attack the lion back. And it doesn't happen very often. Once a lion's done it once, it probably won't do it again.
Naomi.
How aggressive can they be?
Right. Well, I've actually had a couple of times when I've been in there cutting the grass, and we use a strimmer, which is a big grass-cutting machine. Now, even when that started up and running, I've actually had the badgers come up and start getting really angry with it. Now, a lot of animals would just hear it and run away, but the badgers like to come up and try and challenge it. So they are very, very aggressive. And even to the point, I've actually spoken to someone who lives in Africa, and he actually said if a badger moves into an African village, then the people will move out until it's gone.
Do their short legs mean they can't run fast?
Right, they have got very short legs, but they can move very quickly if they want to. And that includes up and down trees. So they certainly can't run like the lynx or, say, a cheetah or something, but they can move quick enough to make you run yourself.
And what kind of speeds can they reach?
I've never stayed in there long enough to find out, actually, so fast enough for me.
We'll be back to badger the keeper with more questions later on.
Over the summer, we ran a competition so that you guys could come and look after these guys. And the question you had to answer was, what is a dominant male gorilla called? Was it a silverback or King Kong?
The correct answer, of course, is silverback, and loads of you got it right. But there could only be one winner, and that was 11-year-old Annie Parker from Woking. Here's how she got on.
Annie was the lucky winner of our second competition and was over the moon when she heard the good news.
When I realised I was won, I was really excited. I was screaming my head off.
Annie will be a gorilla keeper today, and with 50 to look after, it will certainly be a new experience for her.
Close to diving and seeing them on telly.
Well, she'll get a closer look than that today. Annie will be trained up by head gorilla keeper Lorna Wanless, who has been at the park for 7 years.
Hello, Annie. Hi, I'm Lorna. Nice to meet you. You spend the day with us today?
Yes.
Super. I'll just introduce you to some of our gorillas. We walk down here.
First to welcome Annie to the gorilla house is 2-year-old Barney.
You sort of touch him.
He's so soft.
And you can feel how strong he is just by sort of. Well, he's nearly got my jumper through the mesh. Now we'll play with you a bit later. Elsie, this is his dad, B10.
Wow, he's massive.
But Annie's not here to play with the gorillas. She's here to be a keeper, and the first job of the day is cleaning out their bedrooms. But this isn't just a case of changing the sheets. Every day is a massive spring clean.
Oh, this is good. I don't have to do any work, do I?
And the smell, well,
Absolutely reeks.
well, it's no wonder. Check out the colour of gorilla poo.
They've eaten beetroot or something that's quite bright coloured. It does affect their poo. And also, the day after they've had beetroot, when they go for a wee, it's pink from the beetroot.
really strange because they're like in the next door cage to us and you can see them coming really close.
Next step, posing.
I can't imagine having to do this every day.
Don't worry, Annie, the cleaning's nearly over, and with the gorillas getting a little restless, it's time to let them out for the day.
We're just counting all the gorillas through, so we need 7.
Okay.
Now that group are out, there is a very important but tricky job that Lorna needs some help with. One of the other groups of gorillas needs their worming treatment, and worming a gorilla is a bit different to worming your dog.
We've got some apricot jam. We're going to mix the medicine in with the jam, put it in a sandwich, and hopefully they'll take it. And they sometimes are a bit suspicious. If you could put a blob of jam on each bread. There's a bit of an art to this. You need to sort of squash it down a bit, like that. Squirt that on the top. Nice squodgy noise there. And then just sort of mix it together. So if you do that, just sort of mix it so it's all sort of like one. That's it.
But the secret may be out. They're being watched.
She can see us making them. Will she know what's actually happening?
Yes. She does. Yeah, gorillas are very, very smart. And she knows that we're doing something. Hopefully she's not particularly fussy, so she won't care what it is as long as it tastes nice.
With the apricot sandwiches plus their secret ingredient prepared, it's time to hand them out. 35-stone Bim Tam is first.
All the way in the mouth.
So here's Annie's first big test. Can she worm a gorilla?
Will she take it off me?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, if you just put it through. That's fine, should be okay. Put it through. That's it.
It's really strange them like taking it off you because you think they're gonna like try and hurt you, but they're not. They're just their hands are really human-like as well because they grasp it just like we do.
Having given a whole group of gorillas their worming treatment, Annie deserves a bit of fun. Young Barney has come to play.
And this is it's just him playing. He's sort of just getting excited. And also they shake their wrists as well. He's got very, very ticklish hands. So when he puts his hands through, grab his arm and tickle it.
That's scary, because he kind of jabs his hands out.
Yeah.
But hearing him laugh, it's like really funny.
And he's still got his baby teeth as well. See his little teeth?
They like us, they lose teeth.
Yeah.
But keepers can't play with gorillas all day. There is one more feed to do before the day is over.
I'd like to be a gorilla keeper because even though it's hard work, it's really fun and rewarding because you know that you're making the gorillas happy. And when you hand feed them and play with them, it's just really fun. And then when you hear them laughing, you just feel really good inside because you know that you've done something to help them. I've enjoyed it loads and loads and loads because I've done stuff that normally I wouldn't be able to do or anyone else, and you feel really special being able to go into where they live. It's absolutely amazing because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Now it's time that I helped out a creature with a very big nose who's got himself into a very smelly scrape.
I've come over to the Anteater house with Keeper Stuart Jones for what is apparently the smelliest job in the park. He told me to wear my wellies and bring some rubber gloves. So, Stuart, what have you got in store for me today?
We're going to be cleaning out the Anteater pool.
That looks delightful. Why is that such a murky colour?
It's because the Anteaters actually go in the pool.
Here, when you say go in the pool, do you mean they go in the pool?
They go in the pool.
OK, I hear you. And I've got to get in there and bail it all out.
Get in there and bail it out.
OK, well, before I jump in there, I noticed that the guys are here in the pens behind us. Is that for our safety? Why are they penned up?
Well, the anteaters, they're deceptively quick, and they've also got very strong, powerful claws. They use it to pull the logs apart with, to look for termites and ants and bits and bobs. So obviously, if they decide to take a little swipe at us, then they could potentially hurt us.
Yeah, I can see those amazing claws. And they've got these stunning long noses as well. I suppose that's for poking into logs and things as well.
Well, yeah, anteaters don't actually have any teeth. So they use that very long nose to get into little nooks and crannies. And they've also got really, really long tongues. And it's very sticky. And they poke it down the little holes. They find their ants and their termites. And sticky tongue, straight back in the mouth.
Fantastic. Well, I think I've put this off for long enough. So I jump in and do the dirty job. How deep is it? Am I right just
Oh, no, you'll be OK just to step in.
OK. Oh, yeah, that's not too bad at all. But it's pretty disgusting in here. But why, Stuart, why do they go to the loo in here?
They don't just go to the loo in there either. They tend to bath in it. They will often just put water over themselves and stuff like that. But they don't drink it, thankfully.
Right. So they get in, they go to the loo, and then they have a good old bath.
Yeah.
I see. And would they, you know, look for a pool like this in the wild to go to the loo in? You know how?
Well, anteaters are from South America. They're found all over the place. They're found in tropical rainforests and they're found in grasslands. It wouldn't necessarily mean that they'd have to be near water all the time. It's just these guys choose to go into the loo in that pool.
Well, good for them. Not so good for us. Stuart, I can't believe that you have to do this every single day. It really, really does stink. There you go, mate.
Thank you.
Ew, I hope it doesn't smell this bad after you have a bath. Now let's go and meet some leopards who are definitely not to be sniffed at.
Now we have to be very quiet. There's a corner of the wildlife park that's hidden away from the prying eyes of the public. It's a secret spot that very few ever get to see. Today, Keeper Alan is taking you on a privileged tour of that exclusive place. And if you're still and quiet enough, you just might spot the beautiful, yet elusive, clouded leopard.
Well, this is the main clouded leopard area. Got 5 enclosures up here with a pair in each one. The cages here are actually away from the public. Well, as this area is off limits, then we'll go and have a look around.
Clouded leopards live in the rainforests across Southeast Asia, but they are steadily disappearing from our world. Hunting and deforestation has left numbers at less than 10,000. In captivity, they are notoriously difficult to breed. The combination is a recipe for disaster for the species. But here there's hope, because they are having unrivaled success with their breeding program. One cub has been born already this year, and the keepers have their fingers crossed for many more.
Very, very rarely seen. Very shy, very elusive animals, so having the cages off public view, nice and quiet, pretty much that gives the leopards a good amount of privacy for breeding. And of course, we also respect the privacy as well, and generally leave them alone as much as we can.
The lack of human contact means these cloudies stay pretty wild. In their natural habitats, they are very timid, and they are exactly the same here. If they hear you coming and they don't want to be seen, they won't be seen. In the wild, they don't even need to run to avoid you. Their beautiful cloudy coat is camouflage enough in their rainforest homes. It's also where they get their name from.
This cage has Minbu and Utan. Minbu being the female, and Utan, who's just run up the top there. He was actually named after the Sumatran name for forest.
Clouded leopards are arboreal, meaning they live in trees. They are one of the best climbers in the cat world and have even been known to run straight down trees head first. Their balance is exceptional, partly due to that huge tail, which can be as long as their body. They use their skill and dexterity through the trees to catch monkeys and birds.
This cage is Ben and Mandalay's. Ben was actually born here and was born on the birthday of one of the other keepers, hence his name's Ben, as we named it after him.
Ben and Mandalay have a cub. His name is Aston and he's their 6th born. For a month he suckled his mother's milk and hardly left her side. But baby Cloudies grow up fast. Now he's 4 months old and it won't be long before he's moved to an enclosure of his own.
Within the next couple of months we will be taking him and putting him in another cage now and probably pairing him up with another one of our females. The earlier you pair them off, the more success you have. That certainly seems to be the way that we have it.
Aston could be the future of the breeding programme. In a year or so, he could have children of his own. But there is a lot of excitement in the enclosure next door, as there might be more clouded leopard cubs on the way. Jim Vassey, the head cat keeper, has built a cloudy monitoring station to find out. He's installed cameras into their enclosures to secretly film their behaviour without disturbing them.
Right, but this is a Nanyo in Niha's camera. Actually in the shed here, as you can see, is Niha, who we think is pregnant.
It'd be fantastic news if she was. They've had 24 kittens born over the last 5 years. But even with that experience, Jim can't say for sure. Until the day of the birth, they'll just have to cross their fingers and hope for the best.
One of the reasons why we can't tell that they're pregnant, because they don't really show. Like in humans, you can always tell when a female's pregnant, but with the especially clouded leopards, they don't seem to put on the weight. If they get too fat and bulky, then they're not going to be able to climb the trees and jump from tree to tree to catch prey, i.e. monkeys and birds. But Nanyo and Niha, as a pair, have bred now for the last 4 years. So there's no reason why they shouldn't breed this year, as they've bred the last 4 years.
If Nanyo does indeed have kittens, Jim's hoping to catch the births on camera and snap the world exclusive. As far as we know, it's something that's never been seen by human eyes before.
We always look forward to the cloudies giving birth because they are an endangered species, and for us to be able to breed them, let alone look after them, I mean, it's great, you know. It's always a great feeling to come in and, you know, see the end result that, you know, you've got kittens. Just shows that the cats are happy here. And that makes us happy.
Any conservation work with clouded leopards is vitally important. Their natural habitat is slowly being destroyed through deforestation. Each year, the areas they are found in get smaller and smaller, and the fear is that one day there could only be clouded leopards left in animal parks.
I think what we all like about the clouded leopards here, it's such a good chance to do some proper conservation work with animals, really. As far as our breeding programme goes at the moment, most of the clouded leopards that we've bred have gone to other zoos around Europe. That's to aid them with their breeding. But we have actually got 2 now which will be going to Cambodia. Now those 2 will actually be put as part of a breeding and release system there. So that would actually probably be the best thing that's ever happened for the cloudies here.
Releasing the offspring of captive-born clouded leopards back into the wild in a protected area may just work. It's not guaranteed, but it's a step in the right direction, ensuring the future of this beautiful cat. And just maybe the cats to do it will be one of the kittens born this year. Possibly little Aston. Find out more about the clouded leopards later in the series.
These cheeky chaps are male black and white ruffed lemurs. And these chilled out ladies are female black and white ruffed lemurs. In the wild, these guys live in large mixed groups in the rainforests of Madagascar. But due to deforestation, they are considered critically endangered. Normally, this group all live together in this enclosure, but it is currently home to just the boys. because at the moment the girls are living all the way across the park. Further, further, they're living here. The girls are separated from the boys for about 5 months every year when the females are in season. During this time, the girls are able to get pregnant, and at the moment, the keepers don't want to breed them. Primate keeper Matt Ford, who looks after the boys, and Karen Price, who looks after the girls, have noticed that the separation has had quite an effect on both groups.
Normal day for the females, they do groom each other. They spend quite a lot of time sleeping and they just relax and don't take much notice of anything.
Since the females have left, their whole behaviour's really got a lot better, really. I mean, they're a lot friendlier to the keeping staff. They're more relaxed as they're going around their kind of daily business and just more playful, really. They haven't really got a care in the world at the moment. All they worry about is when the next food's coming along.
The boys have had this whole enclosure to themselves to play around in and have fun.
Boys definitely have it better here. The bachelor life, they've really enjoyed it, and they've been playing constantly. They just jump around and have little scraps. So yeah, I think they're not really missing the females an overly lot. It's the females that cause all the hassle.
In the wild, just like here at the park, the females are dominant in the group. So the boys are living it up and stuffing their faces. While the girls seem pretty happy too, lazing around and doing each other's hair.
I think the females are better because they're in charge, they're the boss, they do what they want, and the males have to do as they're told, really. I suppose the females know that the males aren't here. I don't know whether they will generally miss them or not, so it's just someone not to beat up.
They both better enjoy the good life while they can, because it's not long before they will all be back together.
You'll see quite a lot of difference in their behaviour when the females are put back in here. There'll be a lot of fighting to start with, obviously just to get their dominant structure back going. Males are pretty low, really.
They're going to kick off with the boys and there's going to be a lot of noise and fighting and hair pulling and
It'll be a bit of a rude awakening when the females get put back in here.
Join us later to see what happens.
Now it's time for a mission to distract, as one greedy panda is stealing all the others' food.
We're here today on a special mission.
Yes, we've joined keepers Rich and Neville, feeding the red pandas. And believe it or not, this is our secret weapon. Neville, what on earth are we doing here with this banana?
Right, well, hopefully we'll make sure that Odence gets the banana and some of the other fruits that we've got.
Why is that?
Well, he's quite an old animal and he's got very few teeth, so he does struggle when it comes to feed times. The female, she's, well, quite a little bit on the heavy side, so she could do with being on a bit of a diet, really. So it's what we've got today. We've got a mouse, which is something that they do eat in the wild, as well as the bamboo and other things. It's actually one of our favourites. So it's what we'll do. We'll just go and find Chiffon, see if we can tempt her with a mouse and keep her occupied while hopefully Odence fills himself up with a bit more of the other foods that we've got for him.
I think you'll be needing that.
OK, Rich, follow me.
OK, where is she?
Right, well, she's just along over here.
She's actually quite big, isn't she, compared to him?
She is, yes. Bit of a fatty, I'm afraid.
A bit of a tummy on her. So not only is this mouse good for her, it's also a bit of a distraction to keep her away from him.
Absolutely. So if I give you this mouse...
Oh, I've got to do it, have
Absolutely, yeah. If you make your way along to here,
okay.
A little bit lower.
So you were telling me, how did she get so fat in the first place?
Well, I guess in the past she's perhaps just had a little bit too much protein, so we've got her on a, well, quite a drastic diet, really, and I'm sure eventually it'll pay off.
And why is it important for the red panda to sort of stay in trim, as it were?
Well, I mean, you can see her. I mean, she just doesn't look right, the size she is.
Not really, no.
Especially in the heat we have sometimes. I mean, it can be quite uncomfortable for them. They spend a lot of time in the trees as well, and the way they move around in the trees is to walk to the outreaches of a branch, and then it lowers, and they cross over onto the next branch. Obviously, if she's incredibly heavy, she's not really going to be dipping down at the next branch. I think she'll be ending up on the floor.
She could fall off, couldn't she? Yes.
And has she had any young, Neville?
Unfortunately, with this female, she hasn't. There's always hope, and I think at the moment probably it is her weight that's causing Port the problem. Perhaps next year we'll kind of have better luck. But they are seasonal breeders, so I mean this year we're kind of we've missed this year, so we'll see next year.
Alex, I have the male idents in my sights, and I'm ready with my banana. Rich, come on. No, Rich, I'm going to have to stop doing this silly accent. I probably shouldn't have started with it. But there he is.
That's the one.
And you feel that he's a little underweight?
He's on the skinny side, yeah.
So
yeah.
if I was just pinning this banana...
Yeah, if you take the skin off, his teeth aren't that good.
Hey, here, Dance. Now, what? Here.
He's a little bit flighty, so he'll probably turn around and come back. He's not like quite as confident as the girl.
He is quite shy. Is that part of the reason why you think he may have perhaps not had quite so much food?
No, it's basically, normally they're quite happy. They eat on the same platform and everything. It's just that she eats, for his one bit grape, she'll eat about 10.
Oh, really? So is it unusual for a female to be sort of the boss in a red panda relationship?
She's not so much the boss, she just is the boss as where the food's concerned. But yeah, he's just, because of his teeth, he just finds it a struggle at feed time. He just doesn't eat as much as her or as quick as her.
Yes.
So it's, yeah, just trying to make sure he gets as much as he deserves.
Is there a particular reason why we would give him banana?
Yeah, it's just basically the best sort of fruit that will help him build up his weight, and if she has more of it, then it's the one that will make her put more weight on.
Yeah.
So it's the one we're trying to cut down on her diet and increasing his. And just by doing this, it makes sure he gets it and she doesn't get more than she needs, basically.
OK, let's follow him up and see if we can get him to take some of this banana. Look, we've got him cornered on the end. Can they jump, or will he just sort of turn
He's
around
not a
and walk
bad
back?
jumper. He'll jump across that gap quite happily.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty impressive.
If you just, go up to him slowly and just hold it out in front of him, he'll probably come and take it.
Oh, there you go. Come on, you need this, you little
There
skinny
you go.
thing.
He's thinking about it. There he goes.
Ah, good boy, good boy. Oh, success,
Yeah,
fantastic.
finally,
got a bit of banana into him.
He can be stubborn.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's mission complete. I'll put the rest of the banana up here and then we can dispose of the evidence. Thanks, Rich.
They can eat a quarter of their own body weight in one sitting, run up to 35 miles per hour, and can grow to the length of a car. But none of that prevented them from being hunted to extinction in the wild. This is the biggest type of lion, the Barbary lion. Keeper Rich Barnes has been working with these so-called kings of the jungle for years and has an incredible bond with them.
To have the opportunity to work so closely with them, it's pretty awesome. I get a bit miffed that people call them king of the jungle, because never has a lion come from the jungle, but they certainly should be sort of known as king of the beasts. I mean, you only have to take a look at a lion when he's roaring or when he's just getting a bit excitable, and the noise and the power of that noise is just something else.
Barbary or Atlas lions originate from the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. They were the biggest lions in Africa and have been extinct in the wild since the last one was shot in 1922. They've been hunted by man for centuries. In fact, so many were killed by Roman gladiators that their species never recovered. The only place to see Barbary lions today is in captivity, and Port Lim Animal Park has had one of the world's most successful breeding programs. Hand-rearing lions, however, does allow the keepers to get very close to them.
If they come up to us, to the mesh, and they sort of rub their head along, it's a sign of affection, but also it's kind of just to strengthen our relationship with them. I wouldn't recommend going up to just a random lion and putting, your head up to it, because they're not all as friendly as Suleiman here.
As soon as it's feeding time, however, a lion's killer instinct takes over. In order to feed the lions, Rich has to get them out of their main enclosure.
Right, come on then. You're gonna come in. Come on then.
However, Suleiman is a little stubborn.
Just trying to coax him through. If I put his dinner up here, he's more likely to then think that he can come in through here to get it. Good boy. He's a bit daft, so it's quite easy to trick him into thinking that that food's able to be got by him. I didn't used to like doing that because I thought, well, he'll get used to me offering him something and he won't sort of do it, but that wasn't the case. The next time he's forgotten again and he goes, oh, there's food.
It's killing that these lions are best at, and Barberries can take down a young elephant. So this type of cat doesn't need to feed every day.
We feed them every sort of 4 days to try and represent a similar sort of feeding regime as they'd have in the wild. But if, like this group, they've got some cubs, we have to supplement them sometimes, maybe give them rabbits or give them chickens just to make sure that the cubs have constantly got some grub beside of them.
Everything is set, so release the lions. Rich is one of a handful of keepers in the world who is lucky enough to work with Barbary lions.
This type of lion is extinct in the wild, so the ability to work with an animal that's not actually out there is awesome. I try not to have a favourite animal, but it's very hard not to just love these guys, especially Suleiman. I mean, it's just incredible to get that close to a big male lion.
I've come back to the fishing cat enclosure to meet up with keeper Ben Warren. Now, earlier you saw that we reintroduced the two cats, Snatch and Fime, and it didn't exactly go brilliantly. There was a lot of hissing and aggression going on. Hi, Ben. I'm dying to know, how's it going now?
It's actually going pretty well. Unsuspectedly, he's the nervous one. He's a bit standoffish, a bit scared of her. She's quite a lot smaller than him, so it's quite surprising that...
So she's a sort of top cat?
It seems that way at the moment,
yeah.
He's just a little bit nervous.
How had you expected it to go, though, Ben? Because they'd had a bit of time apart, hadn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they were together a little while beforehand, and they seemed pretty well. So you would expect it to go quite well again. You never know what's going to happen with mixing cats, you know. It can go either way.
Since her injury, has Fime gone up onto the sort of higher levels?
Yeah, she's back up there again now. She's finding her feet and wandering back around up high, chilled out.
And how important is it for these two cats to be together?
I mean, they're not going to be a breeding pair, so it doesn't matter too much. It's just for company, really. Making a little pair out of them, just give them a bit of company so they don't sort of get lonely or anything, really.
Whereabouts are they at the moment? Can we see them?
He's just in this tunnel here, looking straight at us.
Oh, I can just see him, yes.
She's right at the top up there, looking down on us.
So maybe he's keeping out of her way?
Yeah, a little bit. He's a little bit nervous.
But there hasn't been any more hissing?
A little bit, but it's all on her part, really.
Oh, well, it's fantastic to see that they're starting to really settle down.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Here's what's still to come on today's programme.
We find out if the lawless Lima lads take well to the ladies' return.
And we see how the Wild Dog girls are getting on with their new paw.
But first we meet Rich again, who doesn't just look after the king of the beasts, he also looks after some sneaky snakes. I've come up to the Discovery Zone to meet keeper Rich Barnes, and he's going to introduce me to a very special snake. Hey, Rich, now, he looks special, but why is he, and should I be scared?
No, you shouldn't be scared. This is just a milk snake. They're what we call mimics. They try to mimic something that's dangerous in nature so they don't get taken themselves as food. This one, as you can see, it's got these sort of tiny bands across it, and these are just to basically make it look like a coral snake. Coral snakes are extremely deadly, and you wouldn't want to eat one if you were a bird. So if a bird sees one of these from the sky, it basically looks at it and goes, no, that's not dinner.
Wow.
So these little guys can get away with never being eaten for that very reason.
Now, can I handle it?
You can handle it, yeah.
I absolutely love snakes, but they still do make me quite nervous. But he obviously, as you've said, is fine. Is there anything about this, you know, red normally means sort of danger, doesn't it? And in nature you see it does as well. Is there anything about the red that...
Not particularly. On this sort of snake, it's just its base colour, and it's more significant with these mimics and obviously non-mimics, the coral snakes. It's the way in which the bands go round. Normally, if it's a king snake, they tend to have the bands this way round, and if it's a coral snake, they'll be opposite, as in it'll be red next to yellow as opposed to red next to black.
Okay.
And that is one way of telling which ones are the corals and which ones are the false corals.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is only it only occurs in certain parts of the Americas. If you go further south, it changes and it's the other way around. So don't always take that as gospel.
So we should be quite cautious approaching something like this anyway in the wild, because
anything that's quite striking, it usually means it's not very nice to eat or it's going to do us some harm. So we should always be a bit wary. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you said in the Americas. So that's all over the Americas?
Yeah, well, this is a Honduran, so this comes from Central America, but you get them from further north up to New Mexico, and then obviously get them further south down into proper South America as well.
Yeah. And if they're not dangerous, then how do they hunt and feed themselves?
OK, yeah, they're not dangerous to us. They are, however, dangerous if you're about an inch long and you look like a pink mouse, because, yeah, that's what they eat. And they will kill, the same as most snakes kill, by asphyxiation. So they'll grab hold, wrap a couple of coils of their body around, and then wait till it breathes out and kill by suffocation.
Right.
It's a common misbelief that all these sort of snakes crush. They don't crush their food, they just asphyxiate it.
Yep.
And what these tend to do, as opposed to the venomous snakes which bite, release, and then just go and follow the scent trail to find the dead animal, these guys have to get hold and hold on to it, and that's why when they hit, they're quite hard hitting. Bang, they'll make sure they get hold of it, and then they'll kill it as soon as they can.
Excellent. Well, he's completely fantastic. He's all completely curled around me. If I unravel him, can we put him back in his...
Oh,
there we go.
Come on in,
I'll hand them over to you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very interesting. Thank you very much, Rich. He's a lovely, lovely snake.
Now it's time to see if you can guess which animal this keeper is imitating. Did you get it? Do you want to hear it again? We'll be back later on to tell you what it was.
Earlier on, we met the black and white ruffed lemurs. For 5 months, the girl lemurs have been separated from the males, and the boys have been living it up. Lemurs are a type of primate like monkeys and apes. Unlike most primates, the lemurs live in matriarchal societies. These are groups where the women are in charge. Female lemurs dominate the males through size and intimidation, especially if it helps keep all the nicest food for themselves. So without their women around, these particular lemur boys have been feasting without fear. I hope the boys have enjoyed this time apart, because it was never going to last. It's a temporary arrangement, because the girls came into season, the period when they can get pregnant, and the keepers don't want to breed them. But that time has passed now, and keeper Matt Ford has locked the boys inside, in readiness for a battle of the sexes. The girls are coming home.
It's kind of the end of their freedom, to speak. You've got the females coming back up here in a minute, and everything's going to change for them. At the moment, Karen, another keeper, is down in the females' enclosure. She'll be catching them up, and they'll be transported up here in a few minutes to join the males.
Okay, we're going to catch the 3 females today with travel boxes, which we've had set up inside for the last couple of weeks. They've not been fed this morning, so they're hungry. And we're going to put a little bit of food in each, and hopefully they'll just walk in.
For these lady lemurs, it'll be a move to a new neighbourhood. But for the boys, well, they're getting the housemates from hell.
Yeah, you've got to feel a bit sorry for them. They've had the run of this enclosure for 5 months without any hassle. You know, they've just been living it up in the sun most of the time when it's sunny and, you know, eating what they want. And now they're just going to be bullied. Basically, their holiday's over.
I think the females probably will have missed the boys, so it's a bit more fun for them to chase them around and beat them up. I think they'll be looking forward to going back and stamping their authority on the place again.
If I was a lemur, I'd be dreading this situation. The females are bigger and just scarier, really. The males, you know, although they're really excited about the females being here, you've got to, you know, there's that side of them that they want to be away from them, but the instincts are to go near them, so they haven't got it good, really.
When the girls get back, will the boys be in big trouble, or could these females actually have missed them? We'll find out later in the show.
Earlier on, we showed you this.
No, the keeper hasn't gone mad. He was talking to his animals.
We asked you what animal he was impersonating, and the answer is...
And that's a tiger, and that's what we call chuffing.
Did you get it?
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. We'll have more animal impersonations coming up later in the week.
Now it's back to meet Alan Keeling as we try and catch out the brains behind the badgers in Ask the Keeper.
Do you have to trim their claws?
Now, their claws might look incredibly long, but no, we don't actually have to trim them. Now, this enclosure is actually full of burrows because they do a lot of digging, and those claws are very, very strong to do that, and basically just doing the digging will keep them down. They also climb these trees as well, so again, it's something else for helping them climb. And of course, they're ripping open beehives, which can be right inside trees, underground and things, so they need those claws to be quite long in order to do all that.
So, Alan, you feed them rats here, but what else do they eat in the wild?
In the wild, well, being as fearless as they are, I mean, they'll take pretty much anything they want. They'll take the kills off a leopard, they'll even take it off a lion if there's enough of them together. They'll hunt cobras, scorpions. It's even been known that they'll eat all the poison inside the cobra as well.
Wow, so they really are quite fearsome animals, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do they like other things like jam or peanut butter?
Well, here, I mean, we like to give them little treats like honey and things, but every now and then we give them something different like jam, and I think they'll eat anything.
Can they make any noises?
Yeah, they can make all sorts of noises. They usually sound quite aggressive, really. They make all these sort of noises and things. Usually it's a get off me, get away from me sort of noise that we hear here anyway, because they are like that.
Emily?
Will they attack anything they see?
I believe that they actually would, yeah. I don't think it matters what would come up to challenge them. I think they would stand their grounds and give as good as they get.
I think we've got the general picture, Alan. These are very aggressive animals. Thank you very much. It's been fantastic to ask some questions about it. And thanks for your brilliant questions, you lot. Since the dad of the African wild dogs died, the pups have become unruly, and Mum has had difficulty in keeping her teenage tearaways out of trouble. To try and restore order, the keepers brought in a stepdad, but he was quickly seen off by the three boisterous boys. The young lads were bundled off to another area, so I've come along to see how Mum, stepdad and the girls are getting along. I'm up at one of the wild dog enclosures with Head of Section Adrian Harland, and we're about to go in and see how the girls are getting on with their mum and new stepdad.
Hi,
Adrian, hi. I understand that the boys are quite feisty. Do we need to be worried going in with the girls?
Well, I don't think we need to be worried. We wouldn't be doing it if I thought there was anything was going to happen. But you should never be too complacent. So we'll take in some protective equipment each.
A rake, that's a good bit of protective equipment. So how are they getting on then, since the boys have left? What's been going on?
Well, since the boys have gone, everything has calmed down. They obviously were the little hooligans in the family. Mum and stepdad are getting on fine, and the girls have just fallen in with it. They seem to get on quite nicely with him. They're submissive towards him when he comes out. And yeah, everything is looking really good, isn't it, girls?
Are we seeing a sort of hierarchy? Is there a dog emerging that's more dominant in the pack now?
What we'll find is that in most dog packs, wolves and all the other kinds, there is a hierarchy for the boys and one for the girls. You have a top male and a top female. And in this pack, the top male will obviously be Mzungu, because he's the only one in here now. And the top female, that's the stepdad, and the top female will be Mum. These dogs are all submissive to her. And that's exactly what we want as far as the breeding, continued breeding of these dogs go. Mum and stepdad are a good bloodline for us to breed from, and the girls will see their mum hopefully raise another litter. They'll get the idea of how to raise, how to look after pups from her, and then if they go off to another place or we use them here with other pairings, they'll have some experience of raising their own babies.
Adrian, what are they doing now?
This is part of the sorting out the hierarchy, these little pushing and fighting and snipping and biting at each other. When they're pups, when they're tiny pups, and the adults bring home meat to the den for them when they're far too tiny to go out and hunt for themselves or hunt with the pack, they'll do that biting at the lips to make the adults regurgitate food for them. And so that's a submissive gesture. So when we see the girls doing that, nibbling at each other's faces, one is being submissive to the other. And through this kind of play, this pushing around, they're sorting themselves out for future life as to what their place in the family is.
Adrian, I can see that Mzungu, the dad's come out now. Is it safe for us to go a bit closer and have a look at him?
Yes, as long as we take it a bit gentle.
Now, is there any sign of mating between Mum and Mzungu?
No, unlike domestic dogs at home, these animals only mate once a year. They're seasonal breeders, and they'll be mating at the beginning of September, end of August, beginning of September.
So it might be some time before we see pups?
It might be, but we're very hopeful. We know that Dad has had pups previously with another female, and we can see that she can have pups and raise them nicely. So this would be really good news for the future.
So the breeding programme's really important then, Adrian?
Yes, it is. These dogs are severely endangered in the wild, and even in captivity they're not bred very often. So it's really nice to see a loving couple like that over there.
Yes, they look like they're getting on really well. Well, Adrian, thank you. It's fantastic to see that they're all settling in so well. We'll keep you posted on how they're getting on, and hopefully it won't be too long before we see some more pups here.
Earlier in the show, the female black and white ruffed lemurs were rounded up, ready to be reunited with their boys. They've been kept apart because the females were in season, and the keepers don't want to breed them at the moment. But now, after 5 long months apart, it's time for the moment of truth. Will the girls welcome their boys with open arms or a cuff around the head? Actually, I'd say they've just blanked them.
It's gone surprisingly well. Females are just so excited about being out in such a big enclosure. They've just gone off and up into the trees, and males are just kind of following them at the moment, which is the best that we could have hoped for, really.
Dumbstruck by their surprise guests, the best the boys can do is follow the girls around, frantically rubbing their scent onto branches. Lemurs have glands all down their fronts, which excrete a pungent smell that tells other lemurs that they're here. It's called scent marking, and it's a way they claim territory. Understandably, the boys are desperate to let the females know this is their place. But let's face it, the girls are bigger and stronger than them, so it's pretty hopeless.
The males are trying to compete with the females, really, to say this is their kind of home. The females are going around scenting, saying it's their home, so it's kind of a big scent battle at the moment. It's kind of the female enclosure now rather than the male enclosure.
Having staked their claim on the territory, the danger for the boys is that the females will now turn their attentions on them. And these girls can get very aggressive.
Females are just going to wander around the whole place, check it all out again, and start making noises, the cackling and that towards the males, which is what that is.
The submissive noises are the boys surrendering. They know their place. And as much as I hate to say it, girls are better than boys. Well, in lemur society anyway.
You've got to feel sorry for them. I mean, they've had such a big enclosure for 5 months, you know, living it up however they want to do it, you know, moving wherever they want without any hassle, and now females come back. It's got to be bad for them, really.
The poor black and white rough lemur boys lost their bachelor pad, but at least no fur flew, so maybe they didn't come off too badly after all.
Well, it's nearly the end of the show, but we've just got time to meet one of the park's cheeky and most boisterous animals. No, it's not head of primates Simon Jeffrey, it's this little feather. He's the boisterous little Debraza monkey called Hogo.
Simon, he's so friendly. How old is he?
He's 1.5 years old, and you're right, he's dead friendly.
He's very tame, isn't he? Have we got some food or something we can give him, Simon?
Yeah, we can give him some peanuts.
Oh, great, great.
Oh, let's
So I just hold my hand out and he'll, will he just grab them
he'll
off?
just take them off you.
Why is he quite so friendly?
He was hand-reared, actually.
Oh, really? Why was that?
Well, his mum didn't really know what to do with him. She was quite an old mum, she wasn't quite sure. So we decided to take him away, and we actually hand-raised him, and then we were able to get him back in with the parents after about 3 months old.
Oh, good.
He loves those nuts, doesn't he? Where's he putting them all, though? He can't be eating them that quickly.
No, they actually have cheek pouches like hamsters, where they can stuff all the nuts into their cheek pouches, and then they can go away and eat it at their own leisure.
Well, that's all the nuts I've got, and that's all we've got time for on today's show. But don't worry, because there'll be loads more captivating creatures on the next Roar.
It's 18 foot long, as heavy as a moped, and can swallow a deer whole. So how on earth do you clean its pen? I reluctantly find out.
Here's one resident you definitely don't want to fall out with. Meet Tebby, who has taken a dislike to one of the keepers.
And it's a birthday she'll never forget for the newest arrival in the elephant enclosure.